Inside the Deck is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, sellers of Magic the Gathering and many other card and board games. GatheringMagic.com, #1 resource on Magic the Gathering, strategy, and culture.
I've been playing this deck online for several months, and I've been doing very well with it. On Legacy on Magic Online, I probably have like the highest win percentage of any format. So, I knew the deck, and I know Legacy is largely about playing the deck that you know the best, and this was definitely the deck that I knew the best. My name is Alan Pennington, and I'm playing a deck that is commonly called Tin Fins. Basically, my deck is a Griselbrand combo deck. The end result is that you want to be attacking your opponent for 22, a Griselbrand and an Emrakul. Well, the reason it's a combo deck is because the idea is to draw your entire deck, ideally as early as turn 1 or turn 2. The basic combo is you put a Griselbrand in your grave. The most common method is Entomb, although it's also quite likely that you Thoughtseize or Cabal Therapy your own Griselbrand in your hand. Once your Griselbrand's in the grave, you're going to get it out of the grave with haste, either with Shallow Grave or Goryo's Vengeance. At that point, you'll probably be at 20 or at least above 14, so you can draw 14 cards with the Griselbrand. If you want to, you can even attack, gain another 7 life, draw another 7, and then the idea is after you've drawn all these cards and paid all these life, you're going to drop a Children of Corliss, which is a 1-mana creature that gains back all the life that you lost that turn. So you pay a bunch of life, draw a bunch of cards, gain the life back, and then draw more cards, and then it sort of snowballs from there. We've got 8 fetches, 4 duels, 3 Underground Sea, and a Tundra, because we do play a couple of white cards. And then we've got a basic island and a basic swamp, because us being wastelanded is a concern, so we want to be able to fetch up basics. Some of the stuff I already mentioned, you have the Entombs, the Discard, the Reanimate, and then from there we've got some cantrips, and then we have some mana. We have 4 Dark Rituals and 4 Lotus Petal, which are very important because the idea is eventually we net infinite mana and infinite life. And those are basically the essentials. We also got Gitaxian Probes, and that's about it really. There are a couple of different ways to be attacking them with an Emrakul and a Griselbrand. The easiest way is to get our Griselbrand into play, draw 14, and since we're still in the pre-combat main phase, we can discard an Emrakul somehow, either by entombing or Thoughtseizing it. And then with Emrakul's trigger on the stack, we bring it back into play with the Goryo's Vengeance of the Shallow Grave, and then we just attack them for 22 all at once. We got 2 Surgical Extractions, mainly just on the off chance we play against some sort of other Reanimator deck or a deck that, for whatever reason, relies on the grave. We got a 2 Pithing Needle. It's basically our only out to Caracas. We also have 2 Massacre, which is good against any, sort of white hate bear style deck. Then we have 3 bounce spells. Those are 2 Chain of Vapor and an Echoing Truth. We also have a Thoughtseize just for the 6 discard spell. We have Pull from Eternity, which doesn't get boarded in a lot, but it's kind of niche. We can get into scenarios where, say our opponent has a Deathrite in play, we maybe Shallow Grave, they Deathrite our guy in response, we let Deathrite resolve, then Pull from Eternity our guy back in our grave and go off. We also have 2 Mindbreak Trap, and then the last ones are 2 Silence, which are probably the most important sideboard cards, because in Legacy there are a lot of decks that might be playing like 4 Force of Will, 4 days, and some number of Spell Pierces, so Silence, is kind of the catch-all against the counterspell decks. The best matchups overall are decks without counterspells, discard, or graveyard hate. So something like goblins, or even like elves, since you just have like a higher average kill turn than them, or like affinity, or like just, not that those decks are particularly common, but any decks like that would be your best matchups, I would say. You just don't have to interact with them at all, which is where you want to be. The worst matchup is definitely the blue-white countertop Miracle deck. I mean, they have obviously counterbalance, they have the whole package. They have everything that they'd want against you. The thing that I like most about it is that it's a very unfair deck in terms of the average kill turn, but at the same time, we can go for a long game if we need to. There have been some games where I've won as late as turn 8. So it reminds me a lot of Belcher in the sense that you can win turn 1, turn 2, but it's not as fragile as a deck like Belcher, in my opinion.